Let's work through example 1 here on conjectures. So it says that the product of two odd integers, we need to figure out what's happening when I multiply or take the product of two odd integers. So let's try. 1 times 3 equals 3. 1 times 9 equals 9. 3 times 9 equals 27. 3 times 5 equals 15. What am I noticing about all of these numbers as the answer? I may notice that they're all odd. I may notice that they're all divisible by 3, but you need to come up with something that you're noticing. So I'm going to make a conjecture. I'm going to say when you multiply an odd number, when you multiply two odd integers, the result will be odd. Let's use that one. I could have said divisible by 3. Now, when I write the conjecture, based on me looking at this limited number of data, I'm going to say that when I multiply two odd integers, the result will be odd. I don't know if that's going to be true or not. That would be something that we will have to prove or disprove later. Let's look at the next example. The sum of two even integers. Let's try to add two even integers. 2 plus 4 equals 6. 8 plus 2 equals 10. Let's take some bigger integers. 100 plus 200 equals 300. 50 plus 20 equals 70. What am I noticing about all these numbers? I may notice that they're all even. So let me write a conjecture about that. The sum of two even integers will be even. And for right now, we're just practicing writing the conjectures. We will ask more questions about these conjectures in a future lesson. But right now, we just observe the patterns and tell ourselves what do we think is going to happen, and then write that as our conjecture. Let's look at the next example. The difference, so when I subtract two consecutive, so these are one after the other, perfect squares, what's going to happen? So let's take two perfect squares. Let's take 1 and 4. I take the second one minus the first one, and I get 3. I can take the 4 and the 9, and I do 9 minus 4, and I get 5. The next consecutive integer from 9 would be 16, which is 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared, 7 squared, 8 squared, 9 squared, and we can keep going on. But let's take another pair maybe later on. So let's take those two. Consecutive means right beside one another. 64 minus 49. Let's work that out. 64 minus 49 is 15. So what am I noticing about the difference between two perfect squares? I might notice that these numbers are odd. Okay, so I'm going to write the difference between consecutive perfect squares will be odd.